A worker at a meatpacking plant in Indiana has a bit of a challenge for President Trump. If it's so safe to work, why don't you march your happy ass down to Indiana and work on the line right next to him? What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Just go inject some disinfectant and come and work next to the people in the plant. No, that was a joke. That was a joke. I'm not actually saying that you should do that. But seriously, if President Trump wants to order people back to work in the meatpacking industry, despite it being very, very unsafe, well then, maybe he should come and work next to them. That's what this guy's saying. Now, this is Gary Harris. And according to the Indianapolis Star, Harris, who's a 20-year veteran at the Tyson Foods meat plant in Logansport, Indiana, is daring the president to put his money where his mouth is and to go and help him on the line that processes meat. Quote, if he does that, I think they should bring the president down here and have him work shoulder to shoulder and join the fun. I like the way this guy thinks. This is my kind of people right here. Because you know what? I used to work on the factory floor. I used to work on the line. And these are my people. And we would always call out the executives, the people that are higher up. Hey, if you think it's so easy, why don't you come do my damn job? Why don't you work next to me and see what it's really like? Oddly enough, they never seem to take that offer. Weirdly enough. Not sure why. Can't figure it out. Now, this, of course, follows Trump's incredibly unpopular executive order to keep meatpacking plants open, even as recent closures, of course, have made people afraid of a meat shortage. In fact, look, Trump made this decision, and I'm not saying it's an easy decision, right? Based on the reporting that we could see an 80% reduction in production of meat. So, look, that would be a bit disastrous because, people still need to eat. Obviously, that's really, really important. But the problem is you have to protect your employees. And employees in a lot of these meat plants have been getting sick from the conditions inside the plants because of coronavirus. Now, Harris explained that more than 100 employees at the Logansport plant have already tested positive for COVID-19. He says, quote, God help the people on the line. Everyone is scared and worried. No one knows who has it and who doesn't because the company won't say. Now, look, I understand that and they might not apply in this situation, obviously, but there are HIPAA regulations that do say that, yeah, people's medical history, you're really not supposed to tell other people, but this is different. This is a different situation. You have an incredibly contagious virus, and it's important for people to know publicly who has it. I mean, this is what testing, aggressive testing, and contact tracing is about, so that you can tell people, hey, this person has it. You were in contact with this person. You're going to need to go and self-quarantine just in case you may have it. And if you don't, that's great. But if you do, at least you're not going to be able to pass it on to other people. That's the whole point, right? And so people that have had it, people that have interacted with those who have had it, need to be quarantined with pay, by the way, with pay, full pay, and given full health care just in case they come down sick. All of it paid for by the company. I think that if you hide this information, it's criminal. In my opinion, it's criminal. And the result, of course, is that it's creating a lot of fear and anxiety for the people around. If you don't know who has it, and if you don't know if you might have it, I mean, that's just a tense situation. You really can't work in this situation. So now Tyson, as a result of this, shut down the Logansport plant over the weekend, and both the company and the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, it's the local 700, have said that the plant needs to remain shut until it is safe to return. And that, of course, makes sense. That's a good decision. Trump's executive order is going to upend all of that and force people to come back into work in possibly unsafe conditions. And we've already had issues, of course, before coronavirus with unsanitary conditions in these plants. Not like the workers aren't doing their job. It's just that they've made it so much more difficult for them to do their job. Line speeds have increased greatly, and USDA inspectors, the ones who actually are catching the contamination in the food, have been pulled off. They now have a reduced number of people, and then the person that is actually there has to count many more, animals, carcasses going through the line, and you can't catch everything. And so, of course, there's increased instances of, hair, nails, genitals, feces being inside of the food. And again, that's not the workers' fault. They're being put in impossible situations. Now you add COVID-19 on top of that, and that's just a disaster. It's a toxic stew. And so, yes, right now, they should be shut down and all the workers sent home with pay and health care. Very important. All right, so now going back to the workers' union here, this is the UFCW International President Mark Perrone saying this earlier this week, quote, "The reality is that these workers are putting their lives on the line every day to keep our country fed during this deadly outbreak. To protect America's food supply, America's meatpacking workers must be protected." And yes, I am 100% with you on that. They must be protected. And now, of course, how do you do that? Aggressive testing, proper PPE, incentives for people to come forward if they think they've been exposed, to go and self-quarantine for 14 days. Again, that means making sure that these workers are able to leave work and can afford to leave work and pay their bills, and of course, ensure the safety of others by not being there. Also, you have to enforce social distancing measures. You have to slow down the line speeds. You have to space people out accordingly, provide hand sanitizer and other supplies at no cost, and ensure, of course, the workspace gets, regularly sanitized, regularly disinfected. Okay. All of that, I understand that's going to be very difficult to do, but you have to do it. It has to be done. Now, I know that this will mean that there will be less meat produced. I get that, right? Now, less meat is better than no meat because all the workers just got sick. So understand that that's your situation right there, because that will happen if you do not take these measures inside of these plants. And also, even with less meat, I'm fine with that. As somebody who does consume a fair portion of meat, I'm one of the consumers that, is more than happy to make a choice to consume less meat because of this. And look, that's better for the environment, obviously, better for me health-wise, and, just better for the animals as well, I guess. Just better all around. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.